These are all the blocks in crabs, and they all do just one thing when a crab touches them. But what happens if you are making something and you accidentally copied a block onto another block? Well, it turns out their effects add together. Notice that when I hover over blocks, on the left side you can see the name of the block. So when I hover over this one, where I pasted a block onto another, you can see it actually says that there's one block below. That's because underneath this block there is a cloner. So I've actually got one of these underneath one of these. And it just so happens that this order is defined by the list of blocks that I have below. So if I have something like, let's say I put a blue block with a white block. The blue block will act first, and then the white block will act, and then the crab will move. So that may not make sense yet, but let me show an example. Right here, what we've got is these two blocks together. So I'll delete everything around it so you can see it better. For now, the blocks kind of glitch in and out a bit because of Z fighting, but I will fix that in a future update. So when the crab touches this, the effect we should get is a rotation and a cloning. So let's see what happens. Okay, so we did get a rotation because you can see it's now facing left, which is strange. I'll get to that in a minute. And we also have a cloned crab. So it seems to be working, except for the fact that this turned left instead of right, which doesn't make any sense. Normally when a crab touches one of these, it turns right, as you can see. So what's actually happening here is it's rotating to the right, and then it's touching the cloner, which also flips a crab around, and therefore it's flipping left. So the entire effect of both of the blocks is happening one after the other. Now this discovery is absolutely amazing because I can combine together all of these blocks to get different effects. I can even make a crab travel 2 times crab speed, which remember is the fastest speed a crab can move. So I could just end the video there because I have explained what this is, but I wanted to show some examples because I just think they're really cool. So this is the first one. This is the rotator and the cloner, which I like. It's very cool. But let's try some others. Let's say I will grab an anti-rotator and a rotator. So let's see what happens. I've got these two together. I'll copy this one onto this one. Remember, the order doesn't actually matter, so it has to be rotate and then anti-rotate. But those two cancel each other out, so what's actually going to happen? See if you can work it out. This is what happens. The crab is stuck forever. That's because it's rotating and then pausing a tick, and then anti-rotating and also pausing a tick, so it never moves. And the only way to get it out of there is to have something else interact with it. So the easiest example would be to put a crab here, facing up, and of course it will annihilate that crab. But this is really cool because in the past, there has never been a way to actually freeze a crab. The closest you could get would be possibly a 2-tick cloner where you get a crab that moves left and right. You could put another crab here so that they swap positions, but then the issue with that is, of course, the size. It's 4 blocks long and sometimes that just doesn't work for your scenario. So a much better alternative would be to have just 2 blocks, half the size, and have these 2 blocks merged together. So obviously this is a better alternative because it's just 2 blocks long. Another massive advantage is that this entire space here is open, which means crabs can freely move throughout this space. Whereas here, a crab could not move into this space. There's no way to get through it without becoming a tunnel crab. Okay, now I mentioned before that you could make crabs travel 2 times crab speed. So let me show you how to actually do that. In the past, you would use cloners to achieve this. So you would essentially make a pattern like this, which would cause a crab to get sent through here, and each time it touches a cloner, it moves forward 1 more block. So to see that in action, I'll put a crab here and I'll let it run slowly. Okay, so you may notice that this crab here always skips a block when it touches the white block. And of course it is producing a bunch of other crabs that just get sent out. This is because of the cloner. So the cloner is the key to making crabs move faster than crab speed. So this works, and it's quite fast, but it's only roughly 33% faster. So we can do even better than that. What if, instead of having these rotators here, we just removed them entirely, and we just deleted the crab? Well, it turns out you can do that. So what if we made something similar, except it cloned and destroyed at the same time? So let's put them together. And if we put a crab into this, what actually happens is You might be able to guess. It clones, and the other crab just disappears. So it gives the illusion that the crab is actually teleporting one block without the extra crabs coming out. This is absolutely phenomenal because you can repeat this every 2 blocks, and that is how you achieve the fastest mode of travel in this entire game that has been discovered up to this point. So you can see each time I press enter, this guy just keeps going, and he's traveling twice crab speed, which is crazy. Now, I've been calling these merge blocks for the time being, but if anyone can think of a better name, please let me know. And out of all of these, the best ones I've discovered are the cloner and destroyer, and the rotator and anti-rotator. But of course, all of them are useful in their own situations, so they're all really cool. And there's just absolutely tons I haven't even discovered yet. Now, if you're really interested in this type of stuff, then I want to show you something really cool I found. So have a look at this pattern I've got here, just these crabs along here. Now I'm going to run it while I talk about it. So looking at that, I immediately see a sine wave, because all of the crabs just seem to move in this wave-like pattern. And I've seen this in so many places that it just seems like this pattern is built into crabs. I can't seem to make anything without finding this. Especially now that I've discovered how to store infinite memory in a crab. It seems like the more efficient the things I make become, the closer I get to these sine waves and all these patterns that come up. Now these are actually just sinkers, but they're sinkers for these rows down here, which is read-only memory. It's the code for the computer. So I see this pattern everywhere. I see all these patterns come up. Anyway, that's all for this video. I don't want to reveal too much, but I have a lot to talk about, so you can look forward to plenty more videos on this. See you next time.